AITA for calling my mom crazy after coming home late. Hi guys. So I live in a family of 5 which includes my father, mother, older sister 26, me 22 and my brother, 18. My family is from the Middle East and we are Catholic if it helps at all. Growing up I was always considered to be the reckless and rebellious child because I would stand up for what's wrong, try to maintain boundaries with them and go out more. This was probably harder for me because my sister never ever goes out and it's just work and home for her. I'm not close with my sister as any chance she gets to get me in trouble she'll take it. Now I love and respect my parents very much, don't get me wrong. I know I live under their roof but at this point I feel like it cannot be justified anymore. I'm 22. In my last semester of nursing school, which I paid for my schooling by myself. I work 4x a week at a retail job and 4 days at the hospital for consolidation. Recently I've been going out more often and coming home around 1 a.m. and my mother gets furious asking me why I'm always going out. I'm so stressed with school and work, friends and my partner are a great way for me to catch a break. I always message her when I'm about to leave and where I'm going. If she messages during the time I'm out I will respond. So today when I got home at 1, she started to yell at me saying why I'm on the streets and being dumb. I got ice cream with my friends and we sat at the park as it was beautiful outside. I just looked at her and said, "Are you serious? I don't need to explain anything else anymore, you're acting crazy." As a teen I was always so scared to go out and up until 2 years ago I told myself I would stop living in fear and live my life because if I don't I'll regret it. Also not to be all depressing and stuff but I'm a type 1 diabetic with celiac disease and hyperthyroidism. I feel I do a great job at managing it and very strict with myself but you never know what could happen, right? Factually speaking, I know I have a lower lifespan and honestly when I look at life through that perspective I want to live it to the fullest. Dr. So am I the AITA for going out against my parents' wishes even though I live in the same house as the one they pay for? AITA for asking my 23F husband, 37M. To please not put his charger in my expensive box? I am 23 and my husband is 37. We have one child who is 4. I'm a stay-at-home mom and do all of the cleaning, laundry, etc. He works from home permanently. He works about 4 days per week, maybe 4 to 5 hours on his computer / makes his own schedule. I feel completely overwhelmed with housework. I have several chronic illnesses such as POTS, and severe hypoglycemia. My sugar has dropped to 27 and it's extremely dangerous for me. My husband doesn't put anything back. I've had many conversations with him and explained that it makes my job harder by having to go around cleaning up after him. I have 2 really nice decorative mother-of-pearl boxes, about $200. They are for decorative use only and really fragile. I cleared a whole shelf off in our master bedroom closet for his 2 laptops and chargers / accessories for him. I moved my things so he would have the room. He said thanks and that worked well. Today he started giving me a hard time he couldn't put his charger in my nice box. I explained that opening and closing that every day isn't really good for it and I really don't want him to use that for his charger. He actually has an entire room downstairs he could use as an office but chooses to use the dining table, which is fine. Apparently it's too much work for him to get his charger out of the closet in the morning and bring it to the kitchen. It doesn't make sense because he has to open the closet anyways to get his laptop. My birthday is tomorrow and it seems like every year he starts nagging at me or starting fights before my birthday. AITA for not wanting him to put his charger in my special box? He's mad at me. AITA for ruining a marriage? My 30F cousin, 33M, we'll call D, has been with his wife, 30F, we'll call C, for 12 years, married for 8. They have 3 kids, oldest is 7. When C originally got with my cousin he seemed like a different person. He was considerate, supportive, and generally a nice person / boyfriend. As for C, she has always been awesome and our whole family loves her. Well, after they had their first child together it seemed like all of his old habits came back and was pretty much the guy we knew all of our lives. As the years went on C just kind of dealt with it. She did all of the housework, made all the meals, watched their kid at 24/7, and still did nice stuff for him. She took on a lot from him including berating her ex, her weight gain, no one would ever want her, etc. When C was a som he'd say they didn't have money but he would turn around and drop hundreds buying himself something because he worked hard for it. He always blamed her for their money problems because she didn't work but when she would offer to work he would blame her for not thinking about their kid. Over the years he's also shown shady behavior, sending flirty messages/comments to women on social media and making secret social media accounts. He always gaslit her into thinking she was psycho and that the real problem was she didn't trust him. I could go on forever, but basically the last year their relationship has been super rocky. His rude comments to her has gotten worse and he's been more short-tempered with C and his children. C works full-time now and D has been unemployed for the past 8 months. C has tried to be understanding but got fed up when D told her that his life is miserable because of her. I think something just snapped and C decided to file for divorce. Here's where I might be the asshole. C came to me for advice. I basically said C should get a divorce unless this is what she really wants for the rest of her life, because after 7 years he hasn't changed and probably won. D thinks since I'm his cousin I'm supposed to be on his side and back him up no matter what. I don't think I'm the asshole because I told him that family or not, nobody deserves to go through what C has gone through with him. Part of my family agrees with me because we all love C and knew that she didn't deserve what D put her through. A few family members, D included obviously, thinks that I'm the asshole because I basically ruined a marriage and tore a family apart. So AITA that ruined a marriage and tore a family apart? Edit. 1. This is not the first time I, or others, have given C advice when she came seeking it. We let her know that she had many options, including leaving if she wanted to, and we would support her. She stayed in the marriage of her own will. You can only help someone who actually wants it. But the older generation is very much the family over everything type. 2. I've called D out many times, I'm not exactly his favorite, on his actions when it happened in front of me. Other family members have as well, including his own mom. What I'm not gonna do is call him out on things his wife confides to me in confidence and get her in trouble, especially when she decides to stay with him. Only exception is if it put her or the children's lives in danger, which to the best of my knowledge it hasn't. 3. C grew up in a family that taught her this is what strong women and good wives do. They are understanding and endure to make their marriage work and keep the family together. Hence why it took years for her to decide to leave. AITA for parenting my boyfriend's son? My boyfriend has a son, Alex 7M. My boyfriend and his ex have split custody of Alex, and I see him occasionally when I visit my boyfriend. Last week, it was my boyfriend's turn to have Alex, but he was called into work for an emergency. He then dropped off Alex at my place and asked me to look after him that day. I work from home but I had an important meeting, so I told him that I couldn't watch Alex the entire day, but I didn't mind if he entertained himself in another room while I was in the meeting. In the morning, I left Alex with a coloring book and pencils in another room while I joined my meeting. However, during the meeting, I suddenly heard Alex crying, so I stepped out to see what was going on. To my surprise, I found that he had opened all the kitchen cabinets and made a mess, throwing food everywhere, searching for his favorite dinosaur cereal. When I checked, I realized we were out of that cereal. Alex, who was aware of where I kept the cereal, became extremely upset and started crying and screaming. I was shocked as I had never seen Alex behave that way and tried to offer him a different cereal, but he continued crying even harder. With my meeting going on, I sternly told Alex to stop crying and gave him 2 options: eat the cereal I provided or have his lunch early if he was really hungry. Alex didn't choose either option but stopped crying after I scolded him and gave him the TV remote, so I returned to my meeting. When the meeting ended, I found Alex still watching TV and appearing much calmer than before. We had lunch together, and I assumed he was upset earlier due to hunger. I then had him help me clean up the mess he made in the kitchen. Eventually, my boyfriend arrived to pick up Alex and drop him off at his mom's place. I told him about X's screen time and he told me not to worry. Yesterday, Alex's mom called me and she blew up on me, accusing me of child neglect. Apparently, Alex had told her about what happened during the day I looked after him, and she was furious that I left him crying to attend a meeting and scolded him. She also expressed surprise that I had taken care of Alex that day, as my boyfriend hadn't told her, and she said he knew I wasn't allowed to be responsible for their son. She claimed that I undermined our parenting style by saying letting him watch TV for more than an hour, and now she struggles to enforce that boundary at home. I ended up hanging up on her and shared the incident with my boyfriend. However, he is taking her side, insisting that I should have prioritized Alex's emotional needs over my meeting and demanding that I apologize to her, given that she is currently not speaking to me. I genuinely don't think I am in the wrong here. I looked after Alex as a favor and did the best I could around my workday, but I just want an unbiased opinion to see if I am TA. AITA for not getting an injured old woman's clothes for her? Hi AITA, this is my first post here, I think, so I hope I format it well enough for you guys. Thanks in advance for reading. I, 25F, work overnight at a hotel front desk. My job is usually to check in anyone who comes in super late, check out anyone who decides to leave super early, refill coffee, get towels, do paperwork, blah blah. I get a call from a room at 5 a.m. from an elderly woman asking me to grab her clothes from her locked car. Apparently she washed her clothes in her room or something, we don't have laundry service and I guess that was her solution, and left them to dry in her car. Yeah. I don't know. Apparently another co-worker told her to do that. Weird, she claimed that her current clothing was smelly and disgusting so she didn't want to put them back on after her shower. Apparently all she had was a towel and couldn't go herself. She said she'd leave the keys hanging outside her room door. Immediately I was uncomfortable with the idea. Perhaps I watched too much true crime, but this felt like a one-way ticket to jumped and kidnapped or whatever. The sun hasn't risen yet, I'm fat and out of shape, and the most I can do to an attacker is attempt to be dead weight if they grabbed me and hope my fat would be good armor, lol. Despite me clearly stating my discomfort in going into a stranger's car, she was extremely insistent and kept repeating herself and talking in circles at me about how other employees got stuff out of her car for her and how maybe I should stay somewhere with better help. Okay? Honestly, her being so insistent about it made me even more uncomfortable. Even if I was being silly about being attacked, she could very easily claim I took something out of her car, no cameras in the parking lot, and it would be her word against mine. I felt kind of bad when she told me about how she had a fracture and how she was old and frail and needed help. Part of me thought that I was being silly and I should just be kind and help an old woman. But I stuck to my guns, albeit with a bit of guilt. Eventually I transferred her to security, who escorted me to her car to grab the things. The security man even confirmed this wasn't her policy, which made me feel a bit better at least. I just feel bad wasting everyone's time, and maybe I should have just done this for an old woman, especially since people had already done it for her before. So, what do you guys think? Was AITA here?